Welcome to the full body stretch. We're going to start on our hands and knees. Hands just under the shoulders, knees under the hips. And just rotating our hips to the left for 8 times, nice and slow. Moving our hips outside of our normal range of motion, unless you're a hula hooper. And to the right, you may find that it's harder to move on one side. Mine, I have a much harder time on my right side for some reason. And nice, back to center, taking a deep breath in. And exhale, rounding the back and going back into child's pose or praying stretch, relaxing down, taking a deep breath in, pushing your hands into the mat, arching your back, moving forward, and looking up, and exhaling, rounding the back, coming back into child's pose, and inhaling, pushing your hands into the mat, arching your back, looking up, exhaling, rounding the back, coming back into child's pose. Inhaling, arching the back, pushing the hands into the mat, looking up, exhaling, rounding the back, back into child's pose. One more time, inhaling, arching, pushing the hands, looking up. And exhaling, rounding the back, back into child's pose. And holding. And bringing it back up to neutral position on your hands and knees. And we're going to go into Superman stretch. So from here, you're going to take a giant step forward with your right foot into a lunge and just rotate that knee around, just small circles to the left. Working on mobility in that hip. And then to the right. Great. And then bringing both hands inside that leg for a nice lizard stretch. Some of you yogis may be able to go down onto your forearms. So if you are that flexible, go for it. For me, this is fine right where I'm at. Find your form, work with your form. It's all yours. You don't have to compare yourself to others. And then working back into a hamstring stretch. You're just going to push your hips back, keeping that front leg straight. You'll feel this up your shin, but also in your hamstrings. Don't forget to breathe and relax into this stretch. This is a nice, subtle hamstring stretch. You may feel it more in your shin if you've got some tightness in your shins, and you might see your toes trying to pop off the ground. Relax and hold what you have. Don't push through any pain. Wonderful. Hold it just a little bit longer. We're going to go into a crescent stretch. You're going to go back into that lunge. Again, relaxed opposite leg. Some of you may feel fine with this level in terms of feeling the stretch. If you want a little bit more, you can raise your hands up toward the sky. And if you want to go one step further, looking up as well with your head. Holding this stretch. Fantastic for the hip flexors, upper body, core. And relaxing down. Switching sides. You're going to go back to the other side, taking a giant step forward with your left side. Working on Superman, so mobility, you're moving your left knee in small circles to the left and then to the right. There's no rules here. The only rule is if you find a little hitch that's painful, don't do it. Limit that range of motion or just hold the stretch. Speaking of holding the stretch, bringing those hands into the inside of your leg. Again, you yogis that are a little more flexible, bring yourself down onto your forearms and hold this stretch. Don't forget to breathe. Great hip sequence to open up your hips. Great if you sit all day. to really work on your hip flexors, which tend to get short from sitting. All right, we're moving back into a hamstring stretch, easing those hips back, keeping that leg, front leg straight, trying to keep your toes, my toes are fighting me, keeping your toes on the ground. You'll feel this up your shin through the hamstring as well. Don't forget to breathe. I've got a slight bend in my knees. Some of you may be able to straighten out. Again, find your form and flow with it. And now forward into crescent. So you're going to bring that body back into a lunge position. You may feel comfortable. This may be where you stop. If not, you can bring your torso up. If you want a little bit more, bring your arms up towards the sky. And one last step, looking up towards the sky and holding this stretch. Nice deep breaths. And coming back down to all fours. We're going to bring it on your left side for a quad stretch. You're going to lay down on your arm and you're going to bring your hand onto your ankle and use your glutes to push that leg back rather than just pull back with your hand. Push back with your glutes and hold that stretch. Again, not holding your breath. Nice, slow, deep breaths in through your nose, out through your mouth. Holding this stretch. You should feel this up your thigh. And even through your hip flexor. And bring that back in, rolling to the other side. Going to do the same thing, bent legs in front, about 45-degree angle, relaxing down on your arm. Using your glutes and your hamstrings to push that leg back rather than just pulling it with your hand. Your hand is just there to assist in the last few degrees of pull. Again, you don't want to pull through pain. You want to feel a stretch. And breathing in through your nose, out through your mouth, holding this stretch. You may feel some tightness as we do this unilaterally. Any of the exercises that we're doing left to right, side to side, you may feel, one side is tighter than the other. That's great intel. My right side is so much tighter than my left. And bringing that back in. And we're going to go right into, on our back, into happy baby. So you're going to bring your knees into your chest and hold this stretch. Nice deep breath, knees into the chest. Take a couple of deep breaths and then bring your feet up, grabbing the outsides of your feet and holding this stretch. The aim is to get your lower back flat onto the mat. And if you want a little bit more fun or a little bit more happy, you can rock side to side. Oh, that feels so good. Super happy baby. Great for hips, to open up the hips. Great for your spine. Oh, I love super happy baby. Yeah, wonderful. And relax down, both feet on the floor. Or figure four, we're going to bring our right ankle to our left knee. This is one of my favorite stretches. You can do it standing. I prefer to do it lying down like we're going to be doing it because you can get a little bit deeper of a stretch. So you're going to bring, some of you may feel a stretch here, and if you do, hold what you have. If you want to go a step farther, you want to contract your abdominals, navel into your spine, bring that left leg or left thigh into your chest. You can use your right elbow to press out on that right knee, and you'll feel a stretch all through your hip, your piriformis, glutes. Fantastic hip stretch, especially for runners, walkers, cyclists. You're just going to hold it right here. Don't forget to breathe. You want to have your back on the mat. And try and release, try and relax your lower body rather than holding tension. You may feel like you can pull that left knee a little bit farther into your chest by the time we're done here. Beautiful. And relaxing that left foot onto the floor, we're going to do the piriformis stretch. Again, if you have a hard time reaching your legs due to mobility, I understand. I've got some super tight hips myself, so you can cross over. You can use a towel or a resistance band around your knees so that you can pull those knees into your chest. Otherwise, you can pull those knees into your chest and hold this stretch. Again, you're going to feel this deep inside your piriformis. Another stretch that we hold statically, and a great one if you sit all day, if you've ever had glute issues, hamstring issues. These are all the stretches that you want to do, but we're focusing primarily on a little bit of upper and lower body, just because we tend to hammer our bodies when we run, walk, and cycle. So and if we're sitting all day too, there's a lot of tightness that happens in our lower region. And relaxing it down. Beautiful. And we're going to do figure 4 on the other side. So your left ankle on top of your right knee, bringing that thigh into your chest and holding, pushing, using that left elbow to push that knee out. You should feel this stretch all through your left hip. Flexing that foot, both feet, for a little bit deeper stretch. Nice deep breaths. Relax and hold. Again, you may feel as you're holding this stretch that you're able to push in just a little bit, or pull in just a little bit farther and get a nice deep stretch. You don't want to push through pain. Find your flow. Your form is your own. We all have hitches in our get along. As I had mentioned before, my right hip is so much tighter than my left. And so I really have to pay special attention to my right side, but it's really normal to have a tighter side as we tend to compensate, or past injuries, things like that. All right, crossing the legs over and bringing both knees into your chest and holding. Piriformis stretch. You should feel this in your left glute. And holding again, nice deep breaths. Try and relax your hips down onto the mat. Relax your legs. Relax your arms. Continue to breathe. Hold this stretch. You may even feel just a little bit of release. That's what we're looking for. And bringing the legs, both feet back down onto the mat. And our last stretch is going to be for our lower back and hips. You're going to bring your knees into your chest and hold. Nice deep breath here. And you're going to slowly, using your hands with your legs in a 90-degree angle, assist your legs down to the right side, so you're not just rotating. I really want you to help with your hands so that you're not straining anything. If you do this all the time, you're probably going to be able to go into this stretch no problem. But I want to make sure that you're guiding with your right hand those legs as you rotate both legs in a bent position over to your right side, stretching out those arms. You should have both shoulders on the ground. And if you want just a little deeper of a stretch, look over your left hand. Turn your head and look over towards your left hand. And again, relaxing through your toes, your legs, your hips, upper body, and your face. And slowly looking straight up, rotate your head back. Using your hands, you're pushing your legs back up to center. And now the left hand comes into play. It's assisting the legs going over to the left side, rotating over, relaxing those. So you can see my right leg popping up. So much tighter on my right side. It's really hard for me. So we all have our hitches. You're going to get into the same stretch. Go with what you have. Don't push through pain, and if you want a little bit of extra stretch, you can look over your right hand. Now sometimes if I relax enough, I can get that knee down. So as we're doing these, you may notice as you do intel on your body, differences between your upper body, your lower body, right side to left. Those are the areas that you really want to be cognizant of and work on in terms of mobility, because it's your weak spots. And slowly bringing your head back to center, bringing your knees with your hand back to the center. One more deep breath, knees into chest. And relaxing your feet down. And there you have it, full body stretch.